I might try and do a little bit more, but the wind is getting up quite strong and it's a bit wobbly up here, so I don't want to take any silly risks.
In this week's episode of Chateau Capers, we have to balance the indoor renovations with essential outdoor ones as the weather takes a turn for the worse. But even with split priorities, we make some good headway in the creaky bedroom. Renovating a chateau is very much a marathon and not a sprint. We want to see the finished results as much as anyone, but they just can't happen overnight. But as the days pass, the creaky room is transforming bit by bit into something we really hope will look magical when finished.
This is the central heating manifold for this floor, or this part of this floor anyway. And so I've had to cut a hole out of the panel so we can access it should we need to access it, which we will need to at some point every now and again. So I've done all my measurements absolutely perfectly and of course got them about 50 mil wrong. Fortunately it doesn't really matter because when it's on, as long as I don't lose it inside the wall, which would be something of a disaster. Oh no, don't do it, don't do it, don't disappear inside the wall. Whew. So I won't be doing that again. So yeah, panel goes there, that's fine, this doesn't really matter, it's only for access. But had it been very important, I'd be very embarrassed right now.
Just as nature abhors a vacuum, this chateau abhors a straight line. I've been cutting and fitting the panelling as perfectly square as possible, but after fitting several sheets of ply, we discovered that the cornicing has been ploughing its own furrow for 100 years and not caring a jot about my straight lines. From one side to the other, the cornice drops by nearly 100 millimetres. The opposite corner of the room is no different. Here it is with a laser line for guidance. I'll need to come up with a clever solution to disguise and blend the straight lines and the wobbly ones together seamlessly. I already have an idea on how to do it, but I'd be getting way ahead of myself to talk about it now.
This is now the first wall done. I'm lying, of course. I haven't finished around the doorway over here, there's just a little bit of wall there, but this is the biggest and the hardest part. Trying to get around the fireplace and to cut the hole through there. So now this is in place, we can work on getting the detail work put on, so the bit that makes it look like nice panelling. And tomorrow we've actually got Chateau DIY coming back to film more of this, so we need today to get a head start on it so that it's starting to take shape, so that they can come and film us doing some of the details and the nice finishy bits. There's still a lot left to do in this room and it's going to take right up to Christmas to get it done. But that's our deadline, so that's what we're working towards.
I started to transfer the design of the mouldings in my head to the panelling. The fireplace panel would set the pattern for the whole room. Meanwhile, Rory repointed the stonework above the new lintel with lime mortar. He used an icing bag to squeeze it neatly into the deep crevices.
I filled in the void that was in this corner here with some stone that originally came out of this wall, but in a different place when I was working in the confessional. So that stone's gone back into the wall, so that's brilliant. I was able to reuse the stone just to fill that void, and yes, so it's all repointed. Oops, sorry. It's all repointed along the top there. What you can see along the window is expanding foam filler that I put behind the lintel just to fill the void there and to help with a little bit of insulation. I've still got some to do over there, but I'll have to mix some more up. But for now, I'm pleased that I've got most of it done. So that means that none of this is going to fall out now. It's all going to be, once it's dried, be nice and secure.
It is lovely to have an idea and a vision.
With Chateau DIY once again following our endeavours, I captured more behind the scenes footage. This time Jane gave a solo interview standing in the garden, sharing her vision for the panelling in the creaky bedroom. Now that Jane had set out her guidelines, I could finally make headway with the panelling. The nail gun, fast becoming my favourite tool, made fixing the decorative wood trim a breeze. With the filming day over, I started on another job that we hope will keep the chateau warm this coming winter. Jane caught up to me as I finally downed tools for the night.
Hello, Dusty Man.
Hey, I've just about killed myself, but I've put the hole in the wall for the flue for the pellet boiler, which is going here in this corner of this room, which is the kitchen. But it's absolutely killed me. Oh, my knees are killing from standing up on a ladder, leaning forwards, and my wrists have almost been wrenched out as the big the SDS drill sort of caught now and again on a stone that jammed it. But oh,
You've done it.
Murder, but it's done. The hole is all the way
incredible.
through.
How thick was that?
It's about 1/2 meter.
You did it all from the outside.
Yeah. Otherwise, the
that's-
whole house would have been
I was
covered in
going to
dust.
say, you could have been neat.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, so we can go and buy some pellets tomorrow and get it all installed and test out the pellet boiler, hopefully.
That's just fantastic.
it'll be
Well
joyous.
done, Rory. And this is at the end of a long day of doing
Long day.
other work.
And filming for Chateau DIY, but
You're amazing.
oh,
You
I can
are
stop now.
amazing.
It had been an exhausting day. We'd been on our feet for over 12 hours. Long hard days come with the privilege of owning our very own chateau. But beyond the work itself, there's always the pressure of looming weather. Heavy rain was forecast within days, to be closely followed by the first cold snap of the season.
What is it? Is it an automated drinks robot? Is it a mail delivery robot? Or is it not a robot at all? It is in fact, dun dun dun, a brand new pellet boiler that's going in the back kitchen. And we hope it will help to heat a lot of the downstairs of the chateau. Only time will tell.
I've worked on plenty of flue pipes over the years, and I like to think I know what I'm doing. I cut one section down like a pro and everything slotted together perfectly. For a moment I was feeling rather smug, until I realised I'd left out a vital clamp. Cue me dismantling it and starting again, like a pro. The second time round wasn't nearly as cool. I just couldn't get the flue attached to the stove. I was losing daylight and my poor old eyes ain't what they used to be. So I grabbed a head torch and finished the job. Like a pro.
What have you done, Rory? What is it?
It's a robot.
Wow.
So we...
The first task was to fill her up with pellets. Not wanting to make a huge mistake, I double-checked that the hole in the top was in fact the pellet hopper. It was. Filling it was a slightly more clumsy affair than I'd imagined, with pellets skittering about under the stove's top plate. I might make some sort of funnel to guide them into the hopper when I get a moment. Once it was fueled up and ready, we switched it on. The instruction manual was in French, and so I'd used Google to translate a PDF version into English. Something was definitely lost in translation. Added to that, the images showed a slightly different control panel to the one on our stove. Added to that, the on-screen language was set to Italian. Added to that, I'd had a new haircut that day.
Hello. So there is actual flames now coming from the beast.
It turned out it takes the stove about 5 to 10 minutes to go through its start-up cycle. But soon it was blowing glorious warmth throughout the back kitchen. Now we'd prepared for the impending frost, it was back outside to deal with the barn roof. We'd missed our first weather window of opportunity, but it really highlighted how urgent the repairs were. The difficulty has been finding matching tiles for this roof, as they're not made anymore. We have to regularly scour the online listings.
We recently managed to find about 200 tiles, which are the exact one for the barn roof. So I can now get up there as the weather is dry, although it's a bit windy, and start replacing some of the really badly damaged tiles, especially above Penny's stable bay. Dizzy's is a lot better, but Penny's is in a really bad way. So I'm going to get up there, try and replace some, try and brush a load of the old moss off the top as well, which will help. And it'll also expose where the worst of the damage is. And we'll see if 200 tiles gets me through the job. I have a feeling I'll be looking for more, but 200 is a really good start. We still have an awful lot of moss to get off. There's a big section there, come down here, and then there's a large section over there. And under the tree, because trees cast shade, this is the north-facing roof, it's damper anyway. The worst of the damage has very much been over on that section there, so that's, I'm going to work at really tidying that up today if I can. And we'll just see how we get on. I hope the wind doesn't get any worse because my tripod just fell over. Holy roof tiles, Batman!
Removing the moss was overdue, satisfying, and by far the most dangerous job. The roof was dry, except under where the moss had been. As I swept downwards, I exposed and had to stand on perilously slippery tiles. The moss got harder to sweep as it piled up. I determinedly cleared the largest section, but wisely gave up on the last two. Dizzy was fascinated by me stomping around his rooftop, sweeping off the moss.
This section is by far the worst. There's just so many tiles. Completely destroyed. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to replace as many of these as possible because this is the worst bit. And Penny and Harry get rained on quite a lot. And the wind's picking up quite strongly.
Wind aside, it was actually a warm day, but the forecast promised frost within days. Hardly ideal conditions for roofing. The wind wasn't great either, though not yet treacherous. The hardest part is lugging the new tiles up onto the roof and lugging the old ones down. I actually rather enjoy replacing the damaged tiles, although this time the space beneath them was crawling with stink bugs. Even with the strengthening wind, I was constantly working in a cloud of their pungent little exhaust fumes. This was the worst part of the roof. As the damaged tiles came off, the gaping hole grew larger. It would be about a 5-metre fall to the stable beneath should I choose to get down that way. I used 17 tiles just on this one area alone. I'm not convinced my 200 tiles will be enough to complete all the repairs needed. An experienced roofer would point out that I should be replacing these tiles from right to left, not left to right. It's just easier that way due to the overlap. I knew this and still made it harder for myself.
I've done a good section here, but the more you look, the more you find. So I've got 3 times as much as I've replaced still to do just in this section really. Worst of it is done the big holes. I might try and do a little bit more, but the wind is getting up quite strong when it, what's the word, squalls, when it blusters, anyway. It gets up quite strong and it's a bit wobbly up here, so I don't want to take any silly risks. So I'll try and get some of the old tiles off and I'll decide if I'm going to carry on or wait for another day when it might be less windy.
I'm standing in front of the orangerie by the pool. Earlier in the year we laid travertine paving slabs around the pool, making a terrace, and the natural stone needs to be sealed to protect it from stains. So I'm going to give it a spray with some protective stuff.
The stone currently has a gorgeous dark cream colour. The spray should seal the stone and prevent it from turning green. I love a nice easy job. With the worst of the barn roof damage mended, the travertine terrace protected and the pellet stove installed, we feel one step closer to being ready for winter. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to follow our progress.